How are we going, everyone? Well, guess what I'm doing? I'm sowing some seeds here, that's right. I'm going to do some spring varieties just a little bit early because everyone's talking about the first week of July, and that's what I said actually. So, but I know it's only a couple of weeks to go, but I want to get some early ones in there because I am going to cover them outside, create a mini hothouse. So what I'm going to do here, I've got four trays here, mini hothouses. Let me finish what have I got. So I've got a 32 cell tray on its own. I've got a 32 cell tray again with the biodegradable pots, as you can see there. Now what I'm going to put in here are my tomatoes, my big Malacca tomatoes. I've got them here somewhere. Where are they? No, sugar canes, broccolis. What have I done with my big Malaccas? No! I've got the big Malacca somewhere. I'm the Malacca here at the moment, that's what it looks like. Ah, I found them. Starting to worry there for a second. Now, I know a lot of you didn't get your big Malacca tomatoes because we are out of stock of them, or the seed that is. But a little secret, a little bird told me, we have got another small batch that we're going to release very, very soon. So we've got, oh, look at that. We've got little Malaccas. We didn't have any this year, but I've got them here, so we're going to propagate those. We've got John's Malacca and Italian Malacca seeds. And that's got to be the big Malacca, yeah. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 in there. So the big Malacca. So we're going to sow all these as well. And so if you're looking for the big Malaccas to be in the comp, check out our website. If they're not online already, they will be very, very, very shortly. So don't miss out because there's only a handful of packets left of those. Now back to here. 32 cell tray, biodegradable pots. We've also got the 72 cell tray here. And these 72 cell trays, I'm actually going to sow my lettuce greens, a bit of beetroot, broccoli. That's what I've got here. So beetroot, broccoli, lettuce, and what else? Sugarcane, cabbage in these ones here. So big Malaccas, little Malaccas, and Italian ones. And I'm using a seed raising mix from Hothouse. This is the one I like the most out of all of them. I've tried a few around there. Hothouse I like its texture. It's got no nutrients, real nutrients. It's composted bark and all that. Look at that, 10 litre bag, and I'm 2 pots short. Let's scrape some up from here, I reckon. These are great, these little labels, plant labels. Great way to level off the soil and get that extra bit that you need if you don't want to waste it all. There we go. Tip it. When handling soil and potting mixes and manures or fertilisers, practice caution, put gloves on if you want to. Don't look at me. This is how I grew up. That's my choice, my hands, my body. But for yourselves out there, if you want to be safe and you've got allergies, put your gloves on, put your gas masks on and your spaceman suits. All right, back to here. Now to sow these, all we need to do is create a little dimple in the middle. I know many of you have done this before, so just go around and just do a light press in the middle so we can drop our seed into the centre there, like that. But you really don't have to sometimes because I haven't pressed the soil in. What I mean by that is I haven't actually compacted it, so if I put my finger on it, it'll actually sink. Now the idea of that is to leave a little bit of aeration in the seed raising mix, so when you do water it, it compacts on its own. So in that fact, you can just put your soil down or your seed raising mix down like that, drop your seed on top. Like the tomato seed is not a very large seed, so you can just drop it on top and then give it a light water and sprinkle some more seed raising mix over the top as a blanket. That's all you need to do. And I haven't mentioned that. We've got our 4 little mini hothouse trays here sitting on our giant heat mat. That's the one underneath there. Have a look at that. It's designed to be able to hold 4 of these mini hothouses at once. And we've got our probe sitting in one of these little pots here now. That's going to give us the average temperature across the board because we're going to put the lid on and that will control the temperature on this. Now I've set this at 28 degrees. I normally set it at 22 or 23 because it's really cold at night. I just want to make sure it gets up there. So at the moment it's sitting at 13.4 degrees, the soil that is, or the seed raising mix. So that's going to get up to about 22, 24 degrees. And I reckon with this time of the year, a bit of luck, I know it's not the equinox or the first or second week of July, and we're not going by the moon calendar planting. I'm going by the Greek Vasily calendar planting, which is I want to plant it now. What? Really? Jesus, Vader, how big are you going to grow, mate? What are you doing? Hey, Krishna. He's looking for something to eat. No. Come on. This way. Come on. Don't walk over there, please. Come on, this way. Sorry, guys. I've got to take care of my pets, my little puppy dog. Come on, mate. Gotta go feed him. I'll be back in a sec. All right, where were we? Sorry about that. Now, these are in my little garden shed, not a glass house, obviously, but we get some morning sun and afternoon sun, and when they do germinate, so at the moment they don't really need direct sunlight, but when they do germinate, they need to go outside to get as much sunlight as possible, otherwise they will become leggy, and we don't want to do that. Now, these are the big Moluccas. I found this little batch here. Now, this is from the 2.48 kilogram tomato. Look how many there are there. Not enough to go around, folks, just enough for me and my family to eat. So I'm going to plant all these, and hopefully we get lots of tomatoes off them. Now, all we need to do is put our glasses on, but we can't. So make sure the wind, oh, don't bloody fall down. Okay, what we're going to do is just drop one, and actually dimples like that, I think too deep actually. No good. Just put it on top like that and press it down. There we are. Doesn't have to go too deep. You put it too deep, it's going to take too long to germinate. One. And before you cover it, that's an important thing, leave it on top so you know where you've dropped them. That's got two in there now. That's got one. That's got one. There. You can use eyebrow pluckers if you like. You can use tweezers. Anything you can use to pick them up. Obviously you don't want to destroy the seed. Just drop them in carefully like... Look, I'm going to get a couple in these. They're stuck together. That's okay. We'll try and separate them as they grow because they both will germinate. All right, that's it there. Now I've got 32 in here. Like I said, you don't have to bury them too deep. You don't want to bury them too deep because they'll take too long. Now, the other thing about seeds, folks, as opposed to buying your seedlings from your local garden centre, there's nothing wrong with that. If you've got a small courtyard, you don't have a lot of room, you only want to grow a couple of tomatoes, by all means go for it. See, these big Moluccas aren't available at local garden centres, obviously, because it's our own seed and we're getting it around there. And if you were to compare these to your typical tomato punnets, you know, you can get the real common ones, the typical hybrid varieties, which are cheap and nasty, F100s as they call them, or F1s. Yeah, $4.95, $5.95 a punnet. You'll get anything between 6 and 10 tomato plants, but nothing to be proud about. Yeah, they'll grow, they'll give you a crop and all that. And if you want to go for the heirloom varieties, well, obviously you'll be paying about $5, $6, $7, $8 for a maxi pot. Now, by comparison to these little things here, yeah, they're a seed. It takes next to no time to grow them. If you're going to grow 32 tomatoes like this, times that by $5 or $6 or $7, depending where you're buying them from. What are you up for? You're a couple $100 there. Here, a packet of seeds like that will cost you $7 or $8. It depends on the variety you buy. You can get tomato seeds with 100 tomato seeds in them for $4 or $5, as long as it's a quality. And always go for heirloom varieties, and that's what we have on our website. Now, I've done those. I've got to do these ones and the rest of them, and don't forget to label them. Always put your label on there so you know what you're growing, because you may remember today, but tomorrow you'll forget. Do the same with the rest of them. I'm going to sow these later, but before we do that, and before we go away, our little liquid fertilizer. Where is it? Our liquid fertilizer. Now I've got half a litre in here, and it doesn't need too much liquid fertilizer in it, folks. Remember my little tomato sauce bottle? So we only got to put about 4 or 5 ml in here. That's it there, of liquid gold. You can put some Eco Butch in it as well, but it's best to put it on as soon as it germinates. And our little bottle top sprinklers. All right. We're all about sustainability. You can make your own little bottle top sprinkler if you like. Get yourself a tiny little nail and a hammer and start punching holes in the cap of your drink bottle, or you get yourself a little sprinkler bottle like that. You get 3 or 4, I think it's 3 in a packet, and just go around and give it a soak. And see how when I water it, it sinks. See how the soil starts to sink or the seed raising goes down? That's what you want it to do. Gets all the air pockets out and gives the seed, look at that, the seed's there. I've just covered it over. Maybe I did it too fast for you, but that's what happens. You can have the seed exposed and it'll sink down into the seed raising mix when you add water to it. Now that's the first application. And once you've done that, you've hydrated the seed raising mix. And this time of the year, one hydration or one application like this will probably last it a good week, because you'll find when you put the lid on top, like that, close the air vents on top, yep, you'll find condensation will start to occur because of the heat starting to rise. That's capturing the heat inside. It becomes condensation starts. Then in the morning, you'll find it all moist on the inside of the lid. That will actually soak back down into the soil again and rehydrate it. So it creates this little mini ecosystem. That's what the purpose of this is. Now, if you don't want that to happen, you can open the vents and allow that to evaporate through. I prefer to keep it close at this time of the year, 14 degrees daytime, 2 degrees at night time, with the heat mat, gorilla size heat mat, the giant one, 4 seedling trays here. We're talking 72, 144 and another 64, that's 208 seedlings, if I got the numbers right. Do your maths on that. See if I was right or wrong. Either way, that's more than 100 seedlings, and that's about, well, if I was buying single punnets, maxi pots, that's 64 by 5, that's $350, let's say, and 72, and there's 10 in a punnet, that's 7 punnets, 14 punnets by 5. That's what, $550, sorry, $50 and 70. That's the cheap stuff, 50 and 20, $70. So we got what, $370, $400 in seedlings. Here, $10, a little bit of seed raising mix, a 10-litre bag of seed raising mix will suffice here, and obviously your mini hothouses, but those you reuse every season. So if you want to get early into the seedlings, and that's what I'm doing here, I'm going to hope they germinate real quick. Start sowing now, wait a couple of weeks, sow another batch in a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks from today, and do that continuously throughout the season as you get closer to spring. Then you'll have, you're spacing out your planting, you're not planting all at once. So I've got my 32 here. I'll do this one in probably, well actually I'll do this one as well, but these ones I'll wait about a week or so. Actually no, they're not all tomatoes. Tomatoes, and then greens. I'm going to sow them all now. I'm not going to waste any more time. If you want yourself a mini hothouse kit like this, check it out, Vasili'sGarden.com. Up to 60% off end of year, financial year sale we've got on there, folks. That's Vasili'sGarden.com. From me, Vasili, Maresi. I'm going to get back to sowing sugarcane.